There's something unusual about the moment you stopped scrolling and clicked on this. The algorithm played its part, sure, but something deeper happened. Like a signal finally penetrated through static that's been buzzing in your awareness for months, maybe years. Here's the part that might sound strange, but stay with me. This exact transmission, the one unfolding right now, is designed to land in your life exactly once. This happens because of how transformation actually functions at a fundamental level. Once something clicks into place, it doesn't need to announce itself again. The door swings open, you step through, and that particular door closes behind you. The closure happens because you're already standing on the other side. I know how that sounds, like some dramatic spiritual concept, but I'm talking about something you've probably felt but never had language for. That moment when a single conversation, or even a single sentence from a stranger, permanently shifts how you see yourself. You never forget it. You also never need to hear it again. It's already inside you, doing its work quietly, changing how you make decisions, how you show up, how you interpret what happens next. That's what I mean by appearing once. The information doesn't repeat because you've already absorbed it. You're walking around with it now, whether you realize it or consciously acknowledge it. Think about the last time something actually changed for you. Real change, the kind where your default settings got rewritten. If you trace it back, there's usually a specific moment. A person who said something that landed differently than it would have a month earlier. A failure that finally taught you what 50 successes couldn't. A random Tuesday afternoon when something just made sense. These moments don't announce themselves. You don't wake up thinking today is the day everything shifts. It's only later, when you look back, that you realize that was the turning point. That was the thing you needed to hear. And you only needed to hear it once. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. We're terrified of things that only happen once. We want guarantees. We want the person to stay, the lesson to repeat, the opportunity to come back around in case we weren't ready the first time. We treat single moments like mistakes, like reality messed up by offering something precious only once. So we chase. We try to recreate the exact conditions. We reach out to people who have already given us what they came to give. We rewatch videos hoping they'll hit the same way. We keep going back to the well even after the water's been drawn. And the frustration we feel when it doesn't land the same way, that's completion trying to tell us it's already done. I've watched this happen in my own life more times than I can count. There was this person I met at a coffee shop once. We talked for maybe 30 minutes. I don't even remember their name, but they said something about how most people spend their whole lives waiting for permission to become who they already are. Something rewired in my brain that afternoon. I didn't need to see them again. I didn't need a follow-up conversation. That 30 minutes did what it needed to do. It handed me a mirror I'd been avoiding. Once I looked into it, I couldn't unsee what was there. The lesson integrated. The energy moved. That person probably has no idea they changed my trajectory. I'll probably never get to thank them. But that's the point. The exchange completed itself. No loose ends, no unfinished business, just a clean transfer of energy from one person to another, and then both moved on. That's how life actually operates when we stop forcing it. Things appear when you're calibrated to receive them. I mean, your awareness expands to a point where you can finally see what's been there all along. It's like when you learn a new word and suddenly you start noticing it everywhere. The word didn't multiply. Your brain just started filtering it in instead of filtering it out. That's what readiness is. It's about becoming capable of noticing what your previous version of yourself would have scrolled past. Right now, in this exact moment, you're in a state of readiness. Otherwise, this video wouldn't have stopped you. You would have kept scrolling. You would have clicked away in the first 10 seconds. But something in the opening lines hooked you because it matched a frequency you're already vibrating at. Maybe you've been feeling stuck but lost. Maybe you've been sensing that something is about to shift, but you can't name what it is. Maybe you're exhausted from searching for answers. And some part of you is hoping this is the last place you need to look. If any of that resonates, it's because you're standing at a threshold. And thresholds are delicate. You can't force your way through them. You have to be invited. This video is that invitation. But here's what most people miss about these moments. The insight doesn't come from the message itself. It comes from what the message activates inside you. I could say the exact same words to 100 different people, and maybe 5 of them would feel that click. The other 95 aren't less intelligent or less aware. They're just at a different frequency. The message hasn't found them. Or maybe it found them, but they weren't ready to let it in. There's no judgment in that. Timing isn't something you control. You don't decide when you're ready. You just wake up one day and realize you've been ready for a while. You just didn't notice. And that realization changes everything. Because if readiness reveals opportunity instead of creating it, then nothing is actually late. You're standing exactly where you need to be. You didn't miss your chance. The things meant for you have always been circling, waiting for the moment your awareness could catch them. It's like those optical illusions where you stare at a picture and can't see the hidden image, and then someone points it out, and suddenly it's the only thing you can see. You didn't gain new vision. You gained new perception. The image was there the entire time. You just needed the right angle. So when I say this video will only appear once, I mean it'll only hit you once right now. This version of you with this exact set of experiences, this level of awareness, this particular ache you've been carrying. 6 months from now, if you came back and watched this again, it wouldn't land the same way. The words would be identical, but you would have changed. You'll have integrated what you needed from this moment, and your system will have moved on to the next frequency. That's growth. That's how transformation protects itself from becoming entertainment. Let me tell you what I mean by that. We live in a world that's figured out how to monetize our search for meaning. Endless content, endless advice, endless people claiming to have the secret to everything. And it's so easy to get stuck in consumption mode, watching video after video, reading book after book, collecting insights like they're trading cards. But collecting isn't integrating. Knowing isn't becoming. At some point you have to stop searching and start living what you've already learned. That's the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. The ones who grow know when to close the loop. They take the message. They sit with it. They let it rewire them. And then they move. The ones who stay stuck keep searching for a better answer, a clearer sign, a more perfect version of the thing they already know. Sitting still with what you've learned is uncomfortable. There's no dopamine hit in integration. It's quiet. It's slow. It feels like nothing's happening. But that's where the real work is. That's where the external message becomes internal knowing. You're becoming the ideas you've absorbed. Once that shift happens, the need to keep searching naturally fades. You've learned to trust what's already inside you. That's when life stops feeling like a scavenger hunt and starts feeling like a path you're building as you walk. I think that's what people mean when they talk about trusting the process. It's about recognizing that the information you need tends to show up exactly when you're capable of using it. Earlier, you wouldn't have been able to hold it. You would have heard the words but missed the meaning. You would have nodded along, but nothing would have changed. But now something inside you is ready to let it land. That's why this moment matters. That's why this message had to find you when it did. Once that click happens, the energy completes its circuit. There's no unfinished business left hanging between you and this moment. The transfer is done. You take what you need, and the rest dissolves. That's efficiency. That's how reality prevents you from getting stuck in loops that no longer serve you. Imagine if every lesson had to keep repeating until you consciously acknowledged it. You'd be drowning in reruns. Instead, life lets things pass through you once, do their work, and move on. It trusts you to carry forward what mattered. The change itself is the confirmation. I see this happen with people all the time. Someone will tell me about a conversation they had years ago that they still think about. And when they describe it, You can tell it's a living thing inside them. It shaped how they see relationships or work or themselves. And the person who said it probably doesn't even remember the conversation. That's the beauty of these single appearance moments. They don't require ongoing maintenance. They don't need both people to stay connected for the impact to last. The exchange happened, the energy transferred, and both people walked away carrying something new. That's completion. That's what closure actually looks like. Just a quiet sense that what needed to happen happened. Now here's the part that might mess with your head a little bit. If this video only needed to appear once, and it's appearing right now, what does that mean for you after this moment ends? It means the searching phase is over. At least for this particular question you've been carrying. You're in a place to hear what you've probably been told a dozen times before in different ways. This time it's sticking. This time your system is ready to integrate it. Once that integration completes, you won't need to come back here looking for it again. You'll already be living it. That might feel anticlimactic. We're conditioned to think that big revelations come with fireworks. Real insight feels quiet. It feels like, oh, of course that makes sense. There's no drama, just a subtle recalibration. And then you move forward, slightly different than you were 15 minutes ago. Maybe you make a decision you've been avoiding. Maybe you let go of something you've been gripping too tightly. Maybe you just feel a little lighter, like a weight you didn't realize you were carrying just lifted. That's the signal that something shifted. That's how you know the message landed. From here the next phase begins. The next embodiment. You take what clicked and you live it. You test it. You let it shape your choices. Eventually it stops being something you think about and starts being something you just do. That's when you know it's fully integrated. When the conscious effort disappears and it just becomes how you operate. That's the goal. To embody what you've already received. To let it change you from the inside out until the old version of you feels like a stranger. Here's what I want you to understand before we close this loop. You don't need more answers. You don't need another video, another book, another guru telling you what to do. You need to trust that you've already received what you came here for. You need to give yourself permission to stop searching and start building. To take the clarity that's emerging right now and actually use it. That's the hard part. The doing. The integration. That work doesn't happen out here in the content. It happens inside you in the quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts and you have to decide who you're becoming. This message found you because you were ready for it. And it won't need to find you again because once was enough. The circuit is complete. The energy has transferred. What you do with it from here is entirely up to you. But know this. You're different than the person who clicked on this video. Something shifted. Something settled. You're walking away from this moment carrying a piece of clarity that you didn't have before. That clarity is your compass now. Trust it, follow it, and watch how your life starts to align with the version of yourself you've been trying to become. The loop closes here. The search ends here. You've learned what this moment came to teach. From here, you move forward. Different, lighter, ready. And this video, this message, this moment, it did exactly what it came to do. It found you, and now it lets you go.